G'day, I'm Ian Gordon, and this is one of the rarest sights in the world, the pelagic thresher shark. I've travelled halfway around the world to this tiny undersea oasis just to see this shark. And guess what? It might be for the last time. Blasts like that from dynamite fishing could spell the end of the sharks as well as me.
With its incredibly long tail, there's no mistaking the thresher shark. Its ability to leap from the water has made it a legend among game fishermen, but they spend most of their lives in deep oceans, and they've hardly been filmed, and few people have ever had a chance to dive with them. All my life I've wanted to see thresher sharks underwater, but who would have thought I'd have to come halfway around the world just to see one? Hey mate! This is the island of Cebu in the Philippines. Life here can be a real struggle, and too often nature comes off second best. It's the last place you'd expect to find such a rare species of shark. Pelagic threshers are occasionally caught in isolated parts of the Pacific and Indian Oceans, but I've come to investigate a resident population recently discovered in Philippine waters. I'm on a mission to find out more about them. They're a pelagic species, which means that they roam the oceans. But just 45 miles from here at Cebu, there's an undersea mountain where they're found all year round. It just doesn't make sense. It's a riddle I intend to solve. That's, of course, if the weather lets me. A typhoon delays my departure by 3 days. But even without tropical storms, in this part of the world you can have 4 seasons in one day. It's incredible the amount of junk that's in the water after that typhoon. It's just all been blown down off the land, into the water. It's reduced the water visibility to about 15 to 20 feet. Makes it so hard to see those sharks. It's not good for the animals either. All this plastic's potentially deadly for all of those animals, including seabirds and turtles. Hope it will clear up soon. Our destination is a seamount already popular with divers and fishermen. But to protect the fragile population discovered here, I've promised not to reveal its exact location.
The area has a higher percentage of shark sightings.
My guide is marine consultant Charles Frew. He discovered the area's mysterious thresher population, so we're beginning the expedition with a thorough briefing.
And there's one by the cut. And the sharks
I'm always excited about approaching an unfamiliar species of shark, but there's another factor here that will literally make diving a blast.
Dynamite explosions. We have a dynamite factory on an island just north of here. Most of the dynamite is done on Leyte, which is about 5 to 10 kilometers away, and we'll hear it underwater. There'll be like a series of sharp cracks, not a boom, but a sharp crack. Some could be quite close, some could be some distance away. The closer the ones will definitely go through you and you'll feel them.
Fishing is a way of life in these islands, but a small percentage of fishermen actually use dynamite, sticking it in glass bottles and bombing the reef up to 80 feet below, and then gathering the dead fish that float to the surface. If they're not already spooked by dynamite, the sharks could still be shy of my bubbles, so I'm using a heavy rebreather rig.
These things are such monstrosities to work with.
Charles has seen the sharks regularly visiting a small area on the edge of a seamount. So far there's a lot less life here than I'd expect on a coral reef, and what's here is hiding.
We've got about 6 to 7 white-tip reef sharks hiding under this rock here. Worse luck I can't get to them, but they're just all in there stacked on top of each other. At night they come out and do lots of hunting, but during the day they tend to like to hide in dark spots like that. Hello? Hello mate, how you going? Look at the remora on him. You can see them all over the edge of him there. There's one up the top here. And those remoras feed on little scraps of food that are left by the white tips. So as the white tip comes in and catches a fish under the ledge and bangs it all around the place, the remoras come in and eat the little scraps of food. They also take the occasional parasite, but not too many. A lot of people think the remoras remove parasites, but not really. Wow, I felt that. That's the dynamite that Charles was talking about. When a blast goes off, the shockwave goes right through you. Wow.
The blast noise and the percussion is enough to knock you senseless, even though they're miles away. And that's the good news. The bad news is they've been here already.
The whole top of this big lump of rock here has been completely blasted off. This is one of the results of dynamite fishing. Dynamite comes down, pow! It's just blown the top right off this rock and killed everything all around it. Dead fish would have floated up to the surface and been collected. It's such a destructive form of fishing.
There's just one patch of reef that hasn't already been blasted, and that's where I find my very first pelagic thresher.
This is what I've come here to see, the thresher shark. Look at the size of those eyes. This is the type of animal that hunts in deep water or hunts at night. Charles tells me that they circle this spot briefly every dawn, then disappear for the rest of the day. The question is, why?
The first thing I need to do is note the identifying marks on each shark, to see if it's a small group or a constant stream of newcomers. It seems like after an individual is circled for a while, another appears and takes its place. This is behaviour no one else has documented. I'm not sure what's bringing them up, but I'm pretty sure the daylight on that sensitive eye is what sends them away over the drop-off.
Did you see those threshers? What, about 5? We just saw 5 thresher sharks just coming all around us. It was fantastic. First time I've seen a pelagic thresher and I'm wrapped!
Fantastic as my dive was, the action hasn't all been underwater. The threshers have been performing spectacular leaps out of the water, but you've got to be lucky to catch one on film.
These jumps are amazing, I'll tell you. Fantastic stuff. Look, there's another one.
These jumps could provide some clue as to why this deep water species is hanging around the seamount. So I'm commencing a study of this intriguing behaviour.
9:15. This is really cool. See, we're starting to get some information already, so. 9:15.
2-4 breaches.
2-4 breaches again, right? Okay, so they're all sort of landing on the right-hand side so far, but this is only very early days.
I need to find out as much as I can about this strange gathering while it lasts. As usual, there are several fishermen on the seamount today. One spotted the last jump and he's on his way. Thankfully, he's not a dynamiter. Today I'm starting a little experiment to tell me just what's bringing the threshers up from the depths. If the sharks are coming up the seamount to feed, then maybe I'll be able to tempt them with some nice fish. They're pretty shy, so I'll leave it on the bottom near where they're circling and see if they're interested. This is just unbelievable. I haven't heard of anywhere else in the world where you can approach these animals, and they're not in the least bit aggressive. They're just so graceful.
We've been looking at this beautiful male thresher shark swimming around us. They're all about 8 to 10 feet long. I've never ever seen an animal that looks so awesome underwater with those big eyes and those big long tails. And every thresher shark we've seen has been doing that circling behaviour. And if you look really closely, you'll see those cleaner wrasse picking at different spots around them. That tail is almost half the length of the entire shark. There are a lot of theories about what it's for. Some say it's actually used for stunning prey, but I think it's more likely it's used to herd them. Whatever the reason, that long tail creates a lot of downward thrust. So to balance that, the thresher has long pectoral fins to give some lift. What we have here is one of the reasons why I think the thresher sharks are coming around. These guys are called yellow-backed cleaner wrasse. And there are also blue-backed cleaner wrasse, and they eat parasites off the fish as they come past. This area here is a bit of a cleaner station, and I think what's happening is that the thresher sharks are coming in and circling around in this cleaner station. These little fish are coming up and picking parasites off the bigger predators like the thresher sharks. That's probably one of the reasons why they're here. Well, our little feeding station doesn't seem to have worked too well. We've had some pelagic threshers coming around and circling this immediate area, but they haven't come in and fed on this lovely juicy fish. I know if I was a shark and I was hungry, I'd want this. Well, I'll keep watching this over the next couple of days and hopefully the sharks will get a bit more interested. But the lowdown is they're probably just here to clean at this stage.
If they are here to be cleaned, then there shouldn't be any threshers during the hours of darkness when the cleaner wrasse are asleep. Unfortunately for my cameraman Mike and I, testing that theory means an early start.
I hate mornings, you know that. Another early morning.
Another early morning.
Why do we always have early mornings? Why do sharks always come out in early mornings?
Well, we're here at the cleaner station, and even the cleaner wrasse have gone to bed. There's nothing here. I mean, everyone's asleep. All the nighttime fish are just starting to go to bed, and the daytime fish don't come out for an hour or two. As a result, I can't see any thresher sharks anywhere. That seems to indicate that they're not up here hunting. They're probably here cleaning, like we were talking about.
Thank goodness that's over. This TV host really needs his beauty sleep. On sunny mornings, the sharks don't stick around for very long at all.
You know, those dynamite blasts from the fishermen were really loud this morning. And Charles tells us that little island up there called Gatto Island is where they've been doing the dynamite fishing. So we're going to go and have a look. And believe it or not, that's supposed to be a marine reserve.
Gatto Island is a marine sanctuary. No fishing allowed for 2 miles, but that doesn't seem to mean much around here. The ranger has a hard time enforcing the rules. He even told us that the last guy who had his job ended up with a bullet in the head. Sounds like nobody's safe around here.
Magkano yan? Kamusta sa'yo? Kamusta daw siya?
Hey.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So you've been seeing any sea snakes around here, things like that?
Malapon daw sa all around snake.
The poachers may have dealt to the fish life, but there's no shortage of snakes.
Okay, well, we got a beautiful banded sea snake just down here. I'm going to try and see if we can catch him, so come on down.
Oh.
It's a beautiful yellow-belly banded sea snake, or what they often call yellow-mouthed or yellow-lipped banded sea snake. He's a sea crite. He's related to land snakes and he's adapted to life in the sea. These guys you've got to watch a little bit because they're pretty venomous. We'll bring him up here a bit closer to you. These guys are beautiful. Look at this. This small-headed little animal is probably about 5 times more venomous than a king cobra. So you've got to watch yourself. You don't want to get bit. So he's starting to dry out the sun, so we'll put him in the water, let him swim off. Might see you a bit later diving.
Before we go back to the threshers, we're chasing much more dangerous prey.
We've just seen some more dynamite fishermen about a mile further up this way, so we're going to try and see if we can catch up with them. Each time we try to catch up with these guys, they usually run away, so hopefully we'll see them this time. There goes another one now.
I just hope he's not on a short fuse.
We've been playing cat and mouse with these dynamite fishermen for a while, and every time we get close to them, they run away. They know they're doing the wrong thing. And this piece of reef below me right now, about a mile from where the thresher sharks is completely devastated. One stick of dynamite over there where the cleaning station is, it's the end of the cleaning station, the end of the sharks. That's a crying shame.
One of the things that's protected the pelagic threshers so far is their preference for the unlet depths. We've only been down to 100 feet. These sharks can go 500 feet and deeper.
Well, this is a big one. To go down a bit deeper to see what the threshers are doing down there, we have to change around the whole rebreather rig. If we breathe the same air that we've been breathing during our other dives, it would kill us.
To go past 100 feet, we actually have to reduce our oxygen intake. Believe it or not, the pressure at that depth actually makes oxygen toxic to my nervous system. I knew I should have paid more attention during maths class.
Off we go, over the edge, yeehaw!
All too soon, I'm at my limit of 130 feet. It's obviously out of range of a dynamite. The reef is covered in beautiful sponges and corals.
Just down there, there's a secondary drop-off to 250 to 300 feet. I can't go down that far. I haven't seen any thresher sharks down here yet, but certainly things are quite different to what I expected. The dynamite may not get down this far, but fishermen still make their presence felt. That's an old fish trap. Well, my short time here has ended. We've seen some amazing things, but worse luck, the constraints of air and the constraints of diving physics tell me I've got to go up. So it's back to the surface, worse luck. Before I can surface, I have to stay here a while and decompress. But look at these guys. Squid communicate by changing colours. Now they're thought to be thresher sharks' favourite food. You mostly find them at about 150 to 300 feet. And that's where the threshers are most comfortable. See you later, guys.
We've almost come to the end of our stay, and we've recorded nearly 70 jumps. All that data will take some time to analyse, but I already have a good idea of what it's all about, and I can show you that on our last dive.
I'm now fairly certain that everything that happens here centres around the tiny cleaner wrasse and their cleaning stations. Thresher sharks are not the only animals to use them either. Manta rays are also coming in for a bit of a clean to remove their parasites.
Before dynamite fishing, I reckon the whole seamount was covered in cleaning stations. This one's a last remnant.
Animals actually have to queue up to be cleaned. And here's the next customer.
I don't think I've seen the same thresher twice during my whole stay here. That means that this station is serving quite a large population of sharks, possibly coming from many miles away. These visits coincide with the jumping behaviour. Being cleaned has to be a little bit ticklish. So I think the sharks are breaching to dislodge the last of their parasites and get rid of that irritation. And speaking of irritation, the dynamite fishing continues. Even though the blast was miles away, it still has an impact on the marine creatures here. Much of a hard coral here has already been destroyed by direct hits, but these soft corals are just as vulnerable.
This is a result of that last dynamite blast. Already the percussion has started to damage the marine life. All these beautiful soft corals are normally extended right out, but now are starting to droop. That blast has such an impact. It's going to kill these guys. They're all going to die.
Observing a pelagic thresher at close range has been a rare privilege. But the sad fact is that it's probably just a matter of time before this cleaner station receives a direct hit and is gone forever. That may not affect the greater thresher population. As far as we know, this difficult to find species isn't endangered, but the chance to study them like this may never come again. However, the situation isn't without a small glimmer of hope. There's no doubt that dynamite fishing threatens to destroy the thresher's cleaning station. But not everyone in these parts is out to damage the environment. A large part of the population here relies on less destructive fishing methods, and most of them know that their existence depends on sustainable catch efforts. Even more positively, tourist diving offers the area a way to earn a living that exploits and maintains the Philippines' wonderful marine life.
G'day, mate. All we can do now is hope that the local dynamite fishermen never find that tiny little oasis. Those sharks are worth a lot more to the Philippine economy alive than they ever would be dead. Any rate, it's time for me to go now.
Okay, mate.
So many sharks, so little time.